let's say a woman starts doing something you don't like. A man who announces his standards sits her down and says something like, hey, I just want to be clear about what I expect. When you do this, it makes me feel blah, blah, blah. Or he'll say something like, I need consistency. Now, what you think you're doing is leadership, correct? But what she sometimes feels is, he's asking me to adjust so he can stay comfortable. You see, so that's not authority, it's bargaining. And bargaining destroys respect. Hear me, there's a core principle to remember. Standards are not rules you enforce on other people. They're filters you apply to your own investment, right? So you don't tell a woman how to behave. You decide how much access she gets based on how she behaves. That's the shift. A man with real standards doesn't confront every misalignment or misstep. He responds to it with less availability, emotional access, less effort. No punishment or attitude, no speech, just alignment.
What most men don't realize is that respect from a woman isn't about how much money you make, how charming you think you are, or how many compliments you give her. It's far simpler than that, and yet so many guys get it completely wrong. Today, we're breaking down the 5 habits women actually respect in a man. The behaviors that quietly make her notice, trust, and value you without you having to try too hard. I'm here to take you through this step by step, and we'll do it in a way that's honest, practical, and a little playful, because learning how to be a man women respect shouldn't feel like a lecture. In this video, I'll show you clips of real-life situations and break down exactly what's happening, why it works, and how you can start applying it immediately. By the end of this, you're going to see the difference between trying to impress a woman and genuinely earning her respect. You'll notice how small shifts in habits, attitude, and presence make a massive impact. So sit tight, pay attention, and get ready. I'm about to show you the real ways women judge a man, habits that actually matter, and how you can embody them effortlessly. 1. He keeps his word, always. Let's start with the first habit. A man who keeps his word. Honestly, this is something so many guys underestimate, but it's one of the fastest ways to earn respect from a woman. Respect isn't built on empty promises or flashy gestures. It's built on consistency. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. No excuses, no I forgot, no vague rescheduling. Women notice these things far more than men think. It's not about being perfect. It's about being reliable. Think about it. When a man shows up when he says he will, follows through on his commitments, and honors his promises, he's demonstrating integrity without even having to say it. That's magnetic. On the other hand, if a man constantly cancels, flakes, or says one thing and does another, it immediately chips away at trust, and without trust, respect doesn't exist. I'll show you in the next clips real-life examples of how a simple "I'll be there" or following through on a small promise can completely change the way a woman sees you. It's subtle, but it's powerful. You don't need over-the-top gestures or trying to impress her with words. You need actions. Keep your word consistently, and women notice. They respect it because it shows self-discipline, reliability, and confidence. The kind of confidence that isn't loud or desperate for attention, but quiet, steady, and undeniably attractive. This habit alone separates men who women casually date from men women actually value and respect. If you want to start earning that kind of respect today, this is the foundation. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and watch how it shifts her perception without you even trying. 2. He handles conflict without losing control.
A lot of women, if not most women, respect in a man is a man who has sort of like this calm, stoic presence, especially when it comes to women. Not necessarily about life. Like, yeah, if he has a lot of stocks in the stock market and the stock market crashes, he's going to be pissed off, right? It's just one of those things. But he never lets a woman piss him off. Okay, or at least if he does get pissed off, he doesn't show it. Okay, he's always very stoic and calm around women. Okay, and he kind of sees women sort of like as a little bit like playful, sort of like like he can kind of, I'm trying to describe it in the best way that I possibly can, but he sort of finds women quite interesting and fun and quite playful, and he likes to observe them, and he can tell basically when they're, trying to, push bullshit onto him and stuff, and he sort of sees it as quite cute.
The second habit women respect in a man is how he handles conflict. And let me tell you, This is where most guys completely mess up. So many men think they need to prove themselves in every argument, shout louder, or dominate the conversation to win. But the truth is, women don't respect that. What they respect is a man who can stay calm, composed, and solution-focused even when things get tense. Handling conflict isn't about being perfect or never disagreeing. It's about controlling your emotions and showing that you can think clearly under pressure. Women notice when a man can speak his mind without attacking her, when he listens to her side without interrupting, and when he looks for a resolution instead of trying to score points. That ability to stay steady under pressure shows emotional intelligence, maturity, and strength. In real-life scenarios, it's the man who pauses before responding, who doesn't blow up over small mistakes, and who can navigate disagreement respectfully, who earns trust and admiration. Women respect that because it shows he's reliable, not just when things are easy, but when situations get uncomfortable. They know that if they ever face bigger challenges with him, he won't crumble or react like a child. Later in this video, I'll show clips where men handle conflict effectively, and you'll see exactly what works and what doesn't. Learning to manage conflict well isn't just about avoiding arguments. It's about creating an environment where respect grows naturally. Women feel safe, understood, and valued when a man can handle tension with confidence. That safety and respect, it's magnetic. 3, he invests in himself first.
When a man is working out, a woman sees like, dang, he could better my life. He is doing so great with himself that I would love to work out with him. I would love to better my life with him. He can show me how to work out. He can show me the ropes. He can help me. If a woman isn't thinking like that, especially if she isn't already working out, especially if she isn't already putting the work in herself, she is not ever going to put work in herself.
The third habit women respect in a man is how he invests in himself first. Now, this might sound obvious, but most men completely misunderstand it. It's not about buying expensive things or showing off. It's about personal growth, health, mindset, and having a life that's worth living, independent of her. Women notice when a man has goals, hobbies, and passions, and they respect it because it shows he's driven, disciplined, and self-sufficient. Think about it. A man who constantly waits for validation or centers his life around a woman comes across as needy, predictable, and boring. On the other hand, a man who is constantly leveling up, learning, working on himself, staying fit, building his career, exploring new experiences, he becomes magnetic. Not because he's trying to impress her, but because he's a man with direction and purpose. That energy alone commands respect. Investing in yourself also means respecting your own time and boundaries. It's about saying no to things that don't align with your growth and yes to opportunities that push you forward. Women can sense that kind of confidence. They respect a man who doesn't compromise his standards or settle for mediocrity, even in the small daily choices. In the next clips, I'll show you examples of men who prioritize themselves without being selfish, and you'll see the subtle difference it makes in the way women respond. This habit is intriguing because it flips the dynamic. When a man invests in himself first, he naturally attracts respect and admiration without having to chase it. Women respect men who lead their own lives, men who know their worth, and men who don't need approval to validate their value. That, my friends, is power disguised as everyday behavior. 4, he listens more than he talks. The fourth habit women respect in a man is his ability to listen more than he talks. And I'm not just talking about nodding along while she speaks. Real listening is a skill most men never truly master. Women notice when a man gives them space to express themselves, when he absorbs what they say without interrupting, judging, or immediately offering a solution. That kind of presence is rare, and it commands respect. Here's the thing. Men often feel the need to fix, advise, or dominate the conversation. But women aren't looking for a man to do that all the time. They're looking for someone who can truly hear them, who can engage without turning the conversation back to himself. A man who listens actively, who asks thoughtful questions, remembers details, and validates her feelings, shows emotional intelligence. That's incredibly attractive and incredibly respected. Listening also shows confidence. It's easy to talk over someone when you're insecure, trying to prove your value. But a man who can stay silent, focus, and genuinely engage with her words demonstrates that he doesn't need to dominate or perform to be respected. That quiet confidence is magnetic. Later in this video, I'll show clips of men who listen well and men who don't, and you'll see the difference in how women respond instantly. This habit is not about being passive. It's about being intentional. When you master listening, you build trust, intimacy, and respect without saying a single boastful word. Women respect men who can hold space, men who make them feel understood, and men who don't need to control every moment. Mastering this habit transforms simple conversations into a tool for connection and influence. A habit that separates men who are just liked from men who are genuinely respected. 5. He respects her time and space. The fifth habit women respect in a man is how he respects her time and space, and this one comes up all the time in real relationships. I recently worked with a man, let's call him Daniel, who was frustrated because his girlfriend kept pulling away, even though he thought he was doing everything right. When we analyzed his habits, it became clear. Daniel was always available, always texting back immediately, always trying to fit around her schedule. He didn't realize that in doing so, he was actually undermining respect. Women need men who can balance presence with independence. Respecting her time and space doesn't mean ignoring her or being distant. It means having your own life and not being overly dependent on her attention for validation. Daniel learned that when he gave her room to breathe and focused on his own priorities, everything changed. She started appreciating him more, seeking his attention rather than taking it for granted. It's fascinating because women aren't attracted to men who are desperate for approval. They're attracted to men who have structure, purpose, and boundaries. A man who respects her space shows maturity and self-confidence. He demonstrates that he values himself, which naturally makes her value him too. Later in the clips, you'll see examples of men who respect boundaries versus men who smother, and the difference is immediate. Women respond positively to men who balance connection with independence. Daniel's story is proof that respecting her time isn't a passive act. It's an active strategy for earning trust and admiration. This habit is one of the quietest but most powerful ways a man can earn respect in a relationship, and once it's mastered, everything else in dating and connection becomes smoother. So, there you have it. The 5 habits women genuinely respect in a man. Keeping your word, handling conflict with control, investing in yourself, listening actively, and respecting her time and space aren't just tips. They're the foundation of real respect. These habits separate men who women casually like from men who women admire and value. Start applying them consistently, and you'll notice the shift immediately, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're becoming the kind of man who naturally commands respect. Respect isn't given, it's earned, and these habits show the way.